Good evening and welcome to the Sultanate of Oman Television 7 o'clock news bulletin. Live from this news center here, we present to you tonight's news bulletin. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq presides over the meeting of the Council of Ministers at Al Baraka Palace. His Majesty stresses that the education and health sectors are among the priorities of the upcoming national work phase. His Majesty emphasizes that Oman is a country of peace and it will continue to achieve peace, security, stability and coexistence among nations. And before His Majesty the Sultan, His Excellency the Chairman of the State Council takes the oath at Al Baraka Palace. Good evening once again and thank you for joining us. Now, the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq presided over a meeting of the Council of Ministers which was held at Al Baraka Palace today. At the outset of the meeting, His Majesty the Sultan thanked the Almighty for the stability and development He bestowed upon Oman. Then, His Majesty reviewed domestic and international situations, stressing the determination to complete the economic reform march and the stability of the state's fiscal sustainability and putting the achievement of financial balance on top of the government's priorities as being one of the most important pillars of Oman Vision 2040. His Majesty pointed out that the economic and financial challenges being faced by the Sultanate, like other countries, require taking a number of measures to improve the financial and economic situations, including midterm fiscal balance plan initiatives 2020-2024, in order to improve the credit ranking of the Sultanate to safe levels and attractive investment environment, in addition to activating and diversifying sources of income, supporting economic growth and utilizing the financial resources in the best way. His Majesty affirmed that the plan with its initiatives and programs shall not affect citizens with low income and families of social security through establishing and enhancing a social protection system, pointing out to the importance of facilitating procedures and encouraging investment and the need to upgrade the private sector and developing the tourism sector and sectors that create job opportunities for citizens. His Majesty also pointed out to the importance of electronic census of populations, housing and establishments to be conducted in December 2020, which will reflect positively on all aspects of development and contribute to comprehensive planning of the Sultanate, urging all to cooperate and interact positively with procedures required for its implementation and accomplishment. After stressing that education and health sectors are among the priorities of the upcoming national work phase, His Majesty listened to exceptional measures taken by the bodies concerned for the start of the academic year 2020-2021 due to the pandemic, congratulating members of the education faculty, administrative cadres and male and female students on the occasion of the beginning of the new academic year, with the need to adhere to health conditions and importance of cooperation from all to provide effective education. In this context, His Majesty the Sultan pointed out to the importance of keeping pace with modern education methods and means and distance learning and enhancing the capabilities of male and female students in the field of information technology and digital communication in line with the goals of Oman Vision 2040. His Majesty issued his royal directives to provide tablet computers for male and female students of social security families in the current academic year. He also directed to contact or to contract all segments of the society and listen to their views and essential needs. In this regard, and after His Majesty had listened to measures taken by the Supreme Committee dealing with COVID-19 developments and bodies concerned regarding the pandemic, and in view of indicators that showed its continuation on the near future, His Majesty praised efforts being exerted by the health cadre in dealing with the pandemic and measures taken by the Supreme Committee, and stressed the importance of dealing wisely with situations related to the continuation of the corona pandemic and its impacts on the public life. His Majesty affirmed the importance of balance between measures and decisions taken to deal with the pandemic and taking into account their economic and social impacts, with the need of continuous evaluation and amendments of these measures as the situation requires, and the importance of not to treat with leniency with the violators of the decisions of the Supreme Committee. At the end, His Majesty the Sultan affirmed that Oman is a country of peace, and its approach has always been peace, and it will continue to follow this approach and reaffirm its foundations in relations with neighboring and other countries in the world, and in its cooperation with all in a way that will not affect the national interest in its endeavor to achieve peace and security and establish stability and peaceful coexistence among nations. Before His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq, His Excellency Sheikh Abdul Malik bin Abdullah bin Ali Al Khalili, Chairman of the State Council, took the oath at Al Baraka Palace today. The midterm fiscal plan 2020-2024 seeks to uplift the financial condition to the level of financial sustainability. The plan will enhance the work environment through electronic transformation initiatives, activate the real estate market, and stimulate local and foreign investments. The Director of Information and Communication at the Ministry of Finance said that the main aim of the midterm fiscal plan is financial sustainability, rise the level of credit rating of the Sultanate, and strengthen human capability in the government sector. The Royal Navy of Oman celebrates its annual day, which falls on the 3rd of November every year, to emphasize the continuation of the manifestations of modernization and development that is witnessed in a blessed March. The Royal Navy of Oman has been accorded great care and attention from late His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, may Allah rest his soul in peace, to carry out its noble tasks in defending the homeland and protecting the achievements of its blessed Renaissance as the development march continues in the era of His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq. RNO is moving steadily as per an integrated approach that includes high-quality performance and training, planned development and armament, and the execution of ambitious national projects. The Sultanate has been keen to achieve integration among the military organization, including well-trained manpower, and providing it with required equipment that enables it to carry out its sacred tasks. Reviewing GCC guiding laws of the protection of public fund, which includes a number of chapters, toppled the 6th meeting of chairmen of GCC anti-corruption and integrity protection agencies. The meeting assured the importance and added value resulted from the joint activities carried out throughout the previous period. The meeting discussed updating the guiding code of conduct of the agencies, a proposal to prepare a GCC joint program to raise awareness and educate the public on integrity promotion and fighting corruption, as well as the importance of educating the youth on the guiding principles of integrity protection and anti-corruption. The Sultanate was represented in the meeting by His Excellency Sheikh Nasser bin Hilal Al Mawali, Chairman of the State Audit Institution. The Ministry of Health today reported 376 new cases of COVID-19, bringing the total number of cases registered in the Sultanate to 116,528. The ministry also reported 8 new COVID-19 related deaths, bringing the total death toll to 1,264. The total recovery cases reached 106,540, while the recovery rate climbed to 91.4%. During the past 24 hours, reached 39 people were hospitalized, taking the total number of inpatients to 382 cases, of which 164 cases are in intensive care units. Measures are taken so that all arriving passengers to the Sultanate's airports are expected to have undergone a PCR test within a period not more than 96 hours. More details in the following report. As per the recent decision issued by the Supreme Committee dealing with the COVID-19, that all arrival passengers to the Sultanate Airport should have undergone a PCR test within a period of not more than 96 hours prior entering the Sultanate. This afternoon, we met with Dr. Khalid from the Directorate General of Disease Control at the Ministry of Health and talked to us on the procedures and said,
as per the revised guidelines, which is mentioned by the Supreme Committee on 1st of November, that everyone is arrival to the Sultanate, he's supposed to have PCR. When he reached the Sultanate, it's supposed to be 96 hours from the day of taking the sample of the PCR. Besides that, they're supposed to also following the guidelines, which is mentioned on 7th of September by the Supreme Committee, which one everyone's supposed to have an insurance, which is covering the treatment of the COVID-19 for 1 month. and beside that, they're supposed to be registered in the Tarassud Plus. When they arrive to the Sultanate, they will go through the same process which is done before. They will make sure that they are registered and they also in the Tarassud Plus, and they will do again the PCR, the second one, and they will go through that. They will wear the bracelet before they are going for quarantine. Now, with the new guidelines, they're supposed to go for 7 days for quarantine. On day 8 of the quarantine, they will be repeating the PCR, which is, if it's negative, they will be released from the quarantine. But if they are positive, either on the day of arrival or on day 8 of repeating the PCR, they're supposed to do again, they're supposed to go through the quarantine for 10 days. Besides, they're supposed to be asymptomatic during this period of time, which is the 10 days.
Dr. Khalid emphasized on the importance of passengers having insurance that cover COVID-19.
If they are symptomatic, the team of the Minister of Health at each governorate, they will evaluate the traveler and to make sure that he is stable and he's not having any complication, or he's not having any, and he's not requiring any medical attention. And during this time also, they will keep tracking him during this time till make sure that he is stable and he's complete the timing which is mentioned by the Minister of Health, 14 days of quarantine. Let me repeat again that insurance is very important. Insurance which is covering the treatment of COVID for 1 month, because this is very important when you are coming to the Sultanate. And it's one of the main requirements to come to the Sultanate. And anyone who is not having the insurance to cover the treatment of COVID-19 for 1 month, he's supposed to go and get it before he's arriving to the Sultanate.
According to the Ministry of Health officials, the decision was taken based on the result of data of travelers arriving in the Sultanate in recent months, and found that more than 75% of them show symptoms 7 days after arriving in Oman. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and later to come in our news bulletin. The Dhofar municipality inaugurates a campaign celebrating the Tree Day. Once again, welcome to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. The Sultanate condemns and denounces the sinful terrorist act that took place in the center of Austrian capital Vienna, and offers sincere condolences and sympathy to the families of the victims. At the same time, the Sultanate also expressed its solidarity with the friendly Austrian people and the international community in rejecting all forms of extremism and practicing or inciting violence and hatred. Khazain Economic City, the Sultanate's newest integrated economic city, has achieved an important milestone of completing 96% of Phase 1 of its infrastructural works at the site. A successful mitigation plan has contributed effectively to overcome the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic, as Khazain has proudly reached this key milestone before its targeted deadline. The development phase is complemented by supporting infrastructure works that include a 9.2 kilometers internal road network along with 200 street lights and a 22-kilometer water supply system and 15 kilometers of drain channels with 5,000 cubic meters water tank and 3.3 kilometers pipeline crossing ducts for future services beside other supported facilities. Modern infrastructure supported by excellent ancillary services, well-connected road network proximity to the key logistic gateways throughout the Sultanate, availability of fiber optics infrastructure and service utilities through partnerships with leading utilities providers in the Sultanate will position Khazain as a preferred hub to do business for local, regional, and international investors. In the meantime, Khalid bin Awad al-Balushi, Chief Executive Officer of Khazain Economic City, said that the implementation of the Fruits and Vegetable Central Market project in Khazain City will start in the second half of the next year after completing all the procedures to transport the components of the current market in Al-Mawalih in coordination with the Muscat municipality. The Dhofar municipality inaugurated a campaign celebrating the Tree Day. The campaign includes planting trees in an Al-Jarziz area in the wilaya of Salala, as well as distributing tree seedlings to more than 200 volunteers and participating teams. The municipality, through such campaigns, seeks to develop the agricultural environment in all parts of the governorate. The inauguration ceremony was presided over by His Excellency Dr. Ahmed bin Mohsen Al Ghassani, Chairman of Dhofar Municipality. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and to conclude this news bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq presides over the meeting of the Council of Ministers at Al Baraka Palace. His Majesty stresses that the education and health sectors are among the priorities of the upcoming national work phase. His Majesty emphasizes that Oman is a country of peace and it will continue to achieve peace, security, stability and coexistence among nations. And before His Majesty the Sultan, His Excellency the Chairman of the State Council, takes the oath at Al Baraka Palace. And with that, we do conclude this news bulletin, brought to you live from this news center of the Sultanate of Oman television. From the entire news team and myself, we thank you for joining us, wish you a pleasant evening, and good night to all of you.